I'm at 3128 Queen City Avenue doing a sanitary lateral inspection. We've had multiple backups. Just trying to diagnose the reasoning for that. So we're going through the clean out here in the stack in the garage, back corner of the garage. And hopefully it goes straight down and is not trapped. And hopefully we can see, it looks like we're underwater almost immediately. It's been snaked multiple times. There we go. So we're going to see if we can figure out what's going on here. Yeah, it looks like we're getting ready to go from cast iron into clay, and we are almost immediately underwater. We are outside the house. Let's see if I can keep pushing until I get stuck. It's a pretty bad low spot right there at the foundation. So we'll see if I can make it all the way out, but it seems like maybe the line has dropped right there at the foundation, and so we have a huge belly that's holding all kinds of solids. So we'll see if I can make it all the way out to the main, and then we'll pull back. See if we can get a good look at all this. It looked to me like there was a major belly. And this all looks like it's open. So yeah, we're the spot where all that stuff was sitting. That looks like that's probably the issue so far, because I don't see anything past here, and here we are all the way at the main. Yeah, so I think what's going on here is that the line right at the foundation is broken and dropped, and things keep getting worse. And so over the years, it's probably been able to be cleared, but but it may have dropped to the point where it's just holding a bunch of solids, especially if the line is leaking. So what we'll do is we'll pull back to that point, and I'll see if we can get a locate as to where I go underwater. And see, this looks like this is broken here. You can see the edge underneath and see all the cracks. That's about 62 feet. That is not some immediate thing. I mean, it's not. We'll see. And this is a problem because I can check to see if I can put something on the camera, because this is a very slight belly, because my camera was barely underwater, so that's not the issue. I think it's right around in here. So 47 feet. But yeah, you can see there's a big old hole in the side of the pipe, and it's all crumbling and crushed, and it's right here at the connection of the cast iron. And you can see where all the toilet paper and stuff is sitting. So it's drained down a little bit, but you can actually see a big piece of the clay sticking up. And so the pipe has collapsed and broke. You see how big that chunk is. And so what's going on is that the pipe has finally collapsed in on itself, and all the toilet paper and everything is sitting right here at the connection. And so I'm going to let the camera sit here. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get an exact locate of where the problem is, and we'll go from there. Okay, it's marked right in the front flower bed there. It's about 8'3", 8'4" to the bottom of the pipe. So roughly 8 foot to the top of the pipe. And you can see there was plenty of pieces of clay there in the middle of the line. So, and you can see all the pieces in the top left. There's actually, you know, just how crumbled the line is, and so all this stuff is just catching on it right when it leaves the cast iron and goes into the clay. So at least a 3 foot section. We did notice, obviously, that I can push back out and see. It's pushing me up against the side of the pipe. I may be getting some of the stuff out of the way, but it looks like it's full of water and so sunk. And I'm out to 49 feet. But I was at about 62, I think. And that's where some of the other stuff was. So we'll push out past that point, and I can kind of show where there was another crack. It wasn't serious. So here we go. We were right around in here. So there's some cracking going on here also, and part of it's starting to lift and buckle, and that may be from the tree pushing in. There may be some pretty major tree roots that have caused this. It could just be the hillside moving. That happens a lot too. So I'm also going to mark this spot. I'm not saying this, this looks like it's flowing, but eventually this is gonna fall apart. But as of right now, it's still at least holding shape mostly and flowing. So I'm going to pause the video again, and we're going to get another locate here. Alright, this is actually under the driveway, just under the driveway. It's 7'4" to the invert, so approximately 7 foot to the top. So we'll pull back. That should pretty much be, those are the two spots. There's some cracking before that. But again, all this is holding shape. It is a little low, but the line is pretty flat. You can see it at least flashing, so that's not a whole lot of water. And so I think about 42 is where we were at. Am I right here? About 40 feet or so. And so you may have to go out about 10 feet. Once you dig this up, you may have to end up going out 10 feet to get it, but you can see how big of a piece that is, just sticking up out of the water. And so all the toilet paper and everything's getting caught on this, and it's just crumbling on the right side and right there at the connection. And you can already see the toilet paper building up. So that's what keeps building up right there. Okay, so I'm going to pull all the way back and out of the line. I'm already vertical here. Okay, so the diagnosis here is basically that needs to be dug up and fixed. Really not much else you can do there. if you try to knock it loose and push it further, you may just do more damage. There's a possibility of jetting it and lining it, but it's probably cheaper to dig it up and fix it, since it's such a small area there. So I'm going to recommend you dig it up, fix it, and then should be good for years to come. You do have the other spot about 62 feet, so you could probably pay a little bit of attention to that. If you start having issues beyond that, I mean, it could be stemming from that spot, but both those spots are marked in case you want to just replace the line out to that point, or at least out to the driveway. But really no other news. The rest of it is rest of the line's good, with the exception of those 2 to 3 spots there. So that'll end the inspection at 3128 Queen City Avenue.